I got the call. Sasha, here we come. And I am on the run like a son of a gun. I got the call. Going to pick up the Tudor Pelagos left-hand drive Killa, the 39 millimeter. Pretty hilarious how I got the call for this. I heard on a Teenage video that the Cartier tank Solar Beat was canceled, discontinued. And of course the buyer in me is like texting G Money, hey, we should probably grab some of these. I don't know. The reason they canceled it is they were having problems getting either the movement or the parts for the movement. There's hints that maybe quality control was an issue. And it's supposed to have like a 25-year life on that thing, but at no point in the future is Cartier going to be able to, almost made a new friend the hard way. Maybe you could send that watch to Seiko to fix if there's a problem. Point being, I called my AD saying, hey, do you got the large in? Because I would have probably gone in on a large and taken a runner on it. I don't know. G-Money was thinking about maybe getting one for his girl. So there is a small one at this AD. I'm going to check that out, see if it might be a good fit. But turns out the salesperson at this location also works at the other location. And I just randomly asked, just like I did for the FXD via phone, hey, you don't happen to have a Pelogos 39? She goes and checks. We do have one. It's on hold for someone who's supposed to buy it today. I'm like, well, you mind calling them and seeing if they're going to commit? Because if they're not, I will be over in mere moments to come get. Sure enough, half hour later, got the call. Oh, I am wrist naked today because I'm planning on wearing this Pelagos out. This is going to be my Tudor dive watch. I love the FXD. It's still in the collection. I can't imagine selling that one either, though. But this is going to be my... What is this going to be? My left-hand drive has to go. The left-hand drive it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful watch. It's just too big for me personally. And I can pull it off, but it just feels... It feels too big for me. My boy Scotty P, if you're watching this, brother. So he was going to buy my left-hand drive. He ended up getting the blue Pelagos, and he's loving it. All the more power to him. I wish he'd have bought the left-hand drive because I could have used the cash for this purchase. So I'm going to take the left-hand drive out to market. If you're interested in it, shoot me a message. I'll give you the friend price. Why not? If I sell to the channel, if I sell to you, I'm going to give you the friend price. If I sell in the open market, I'm absolutely making money off of it. But I don't mind netting out to you. It's all good. Share the hobby, share the passion, share the great pricing, right? So drop me a little note in the comments if you're interested in my left-hand drive. It just had a service from Rolex about 1.5 years ago. It was not keeping good time, so it was still under warranty. So it's fully serviced. There's a little bit of wear on the clasp from the previous owner. And high-res photos, etc. will be shared along with time grapher info if you are interested. It's a rainy day. I'm racing out to get this watch. Not that I need to race out, because this is the same person who hooked me up with the FXD, which is pretty rad. Ba-bam! Cannot believe the Tudor Pelagos 39 just kind of fell into my lap today. How hilarious is that? First blush, I've seen this watch in person before. I caught it when I was out in LA and tried it on, loved it immediately. I can tell it's going to be my Tudor dive watch. The challenge is, being that it's no date and a diver, it's definitely got some redundancy over the Explorer. I realize they're different watches. It's time only though, so it's kind of funny. I don't know, I'd been hunting other Tudor divers, older ones, the Submariners, and I no longer have it. That's a problematic watch. I was seeing so many issues with the bezels out there, and I know that era of Tudors is either monkeyed with, knocked off, or Frankenstein on a regular basis. And so I had some hesitancy. The best I ever saw those was 4K, which is a lot for a diver that you can't take diving. And I get most people don't go diving. I don't go diving. I fantasize. I've got little dreams about going diving. But even if I would go diving, I wouldn't take that watch, or necessarily this watch. I'd probably take my Doxa GMT, or a dive computer, whatever. I would probably go, okay, let's not scuba diving, all right? Snorkeling, let's call it what it would probably be, right? At the very least, for me, this is gonna be a left-hand drive killer, and I love that watch. I love that watch, it's just too big for me, but I love the dial. I love the raised nested indices. This has got more standard indices. For me, they could have used that same nesting on it. I'm going to do a side-by-side. They'll make it a triple with the FXD. Speaking of FXD, there was one in the case today. I should have bought it on principle and then sold it to a buddy, but I didn't. I just didn't want to carry the weight. I don't even think G Money's into it. I know Scotty P is, but we had problemas shipping to Canada with a left-hand drive. I should have bought that. Or at least maybe I should have put an alert out. Oh, that's kind of silly. Putting an alert out. Hey, there's this watch here. Buy it and ship it to yourself or whatever, but I don't know. They sized this for me at I was gonna say the dealer. Like at the car dealer. I guess it is dealer, authorized dealer. And normally I like to size my own stuff, because if there's going to be any marring to a screw or a slip and a ding on the bracelet, I want it to be for me, but it doesn't appear to be any. But she did get this bracelet sized perfectly for me, but also got this bodaciously huge clasp centered. My goodness, is that clasp robust. I'd be interested to see if there's any reports online as to why on earth they made a Gigantor clasp. I think all the releases for 2023 had, speaking generally, more modest clasps to begin with. I don't see any reason to have a clasp that is... Thankfully, it sits well on me, right? That's easily 1.5 inches of titanium. Oh, that is the one difference and downside to the left-hand drive. The clasp on the left-hand drive is steel, which is kind of strange. I mean, when that watch ships new, the color of the metals matches, but as time goes on, the clasp ages a little bit differently, and certainly if it gets some, desk diving marks or whatever, and you don't try to polish them out. Don't, because you'll just take away whatever coating is on there and it will shine through and polish, because you can't really polish titanium unless you're a pro. I've seen one pro, the Naked Watch, polish titanium, but he's a pro, right? I don't think you can polish titanium at home. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comments. But I believe this clasp is full titanium, and maybe when they released the left-hand drive they weren't able to. It's got an unusual expanding clasp that is kind of specialized, so maybe that's why they didn't do that in titanium when they made that generation. I don't think the other standard Pelagos models, the larger ones that are companion to the left-hand drive, I don't think they have titanium clasps either, which is kind of unusual. That's actually really weird. I would have preferred that they waited until they figured that out to make it all titanium. So, I don't know, maybe that's why this is so big. It's got a neat clasp locker clicker, not clicker thing, what is that? Clasp. Use your words, D. It's got a nice clasp. You can really dig your fingernail in there to get that undone. And it does have some manner of extension. I haven't really played around with it yet. The strap, I was more impressed with the rubber strap in the pictures than in person, because for some reason I thought the rubber strap had its own end link thing on it, but it just utilizes the end links from the bracelet, which is cool, and it fits a certain aesthetic. Although, truth be told, I would probably run a regular rubber strap on there. I say all that to say that my desire for that vintage Tudor Submariner is gone, baby, gone with the wind. I think that if I could have got one at IWJG, I totally would have. but it was the one I looked at out there, even though it's been better pricing, it was pretty jacked up. So this is my Tudor diver, and I think what we'll do now is we'll do a little bit of side-by-side in the studio and get me out of the rain. Well, what do you know? Power trio of Tudors. Tudor. FXD, you are not on the chopping block, dear, so you can sit this one out. Hang out for a bit while we do some chit-chatting. I'm going to put some numbers up on the board. I'm not going to do an in-depth comparison, a watch war of these two, because that episode is coming separately. But I did want to have the benefit of looking at them side by side. You can see by the dimensions that these are two very, very different watches based on their sizing. Got helium escape valve here, quite a bit thicker, quite a bit bigger on wrist, as you'll see in a second. And it just draws into sharp contrast how awesome this 39 is for someone of my wrist size. Looking at 39 millimeters on this, 6.5 inch wrist, 42 millimeters on this. This is a tremendous watch. If you're at 7 inches and above, by all means, go with this. You're going to love it. And it's a chunky monkey, but not a heavy Chevy, because it is titanium, and they are both really rather very light. I adore them, and it's going to be a tough call deciding whether or not to pass this one on or to keep it. Let's pull a Castro and see how they look both on the same wrist. And there you have. You know what? Let's see if we get a third one on there, just for silliness sake. Yeah, I do love some Tudor dive watch here, but clearly some redundancy going on. Maybe with that one in the middle. I think the middle child there may have to, go on to a new home. What do you think? If you're interested in the left-hand drive, do drop me a comment and let me know. We'll sort you out with the friend price. Since this is not a full comparison, but rather more or less an unboxing of this 39, I'm so glad I held out for it. So glad I hunted it down and waited to get it. It's not I despise having to pay over list for watches, and these certainly have been out there and have hit the market at over retail, which is just not my bag. You know that. It's a great watch. The only thing I really don't like is the UGG width, 21 millimeters. I have like one leather strap that will go with it, and they don't make isofrane straps in 21 millimeters, my favorite rubber strap. So not sure what to do about that. I don't know, maybe Alibaba has them. I'll have to look there and see. But this is probably, who are we kidding? This is probably going to be living on its bracelet 9 times out of 10. Although, Ivan, 2-stitch. Let's fire up the phone lines there and maybe get me some 21 millimeter straps for this one, shall we? And there you have it. Tudor in titanium, in triplicate, side by side for a little while longer yet. Soon to be in duplicate. If you're interested in the left-hand drive, I'll pass it through to you at the friend price. Drop me a comment here, hit me up on Instagram, we'll sort you out. Otherwise, I hope you are enjoying your day wherever you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours. Catch you in the next one. Peace. Hope that wherever you are enjoying your day in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. As I look away to the horizon wistfully,